Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Well, welcome once again to Kahului Hongwanji Buddhist Temple's online Sunday YouTube service. And today's service is for September 19th, 2021. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope everyone is doing well and staying healthy and all those good things. Today's service is our regular Sunday service, so we've already been called to mindfulness, to listen to the Dharma by the ringing of the Kansho, the temple bell. And next we will have the Vandana and Tisarana. We are praising the Buddha's enlightenment and taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Following that, we will have the chanting of Gassho to Amida, which is kind of a modern sutra written to, in simple words so that we can really understand it, and expressing the important aspects of the teaching. After the Gassho to Amida, we will recite the golden chain of love, and then I will share a Dharma message with you. After the Dharma message, we will have the chanting of the Metta, the loving kindness meditation, and then singing the Nembutsu. And then I will have some closing words and announcements. So thank you so much for joining us once again, and let's begin our service now. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Bhutang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda. Gassho to Amida, trees and grasses and flowers all grow in great compassion.
This light shines throughout the world. I Gassho to Amida. Flowers bloom and flowers fall. From the seed sprout new flowers. This is the truth unchanging. I Gassho to Amida. Springtime brings the happy birds. Their songs all praise Amida. I join them in Nembutsu. I Gassho to Amida. When I call Amida's name, it's Amida calling me. Buddha's voice, my voice are one. I Gassho to Amida. When I'm lonely, I recite Namo Amida Butsu. Then I feel great compassion. I Gassho to Amida. Nembutsu in work and play, every day with Amida, every moment filled with light. I Gassho to Amida. Remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. I Gassho to Amida. In the clear bright morning sun, in the fading light of day, in the darkness of the night, I Gassho to Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. I live in great compassion. This great power guides my life. I Gassho to Amida. Namandabu, 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 Namandabu. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda.
Golden Chain of Love. I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love
become bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Please join me with hands together as we hear the calling voice of Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Welcome again. I would like to continue my series of talks this month about peace, since we are observing Peace Day this month, September 21st. Today I want to talk about peace of mind. So this isn't quite so cheerful a way to start, but I do want to say a few things. I think that telling the truth is the most important thing. If we are going to, if we seek the truth, we should be willing to express things as we see them. So, the world we live in today is really dominated by greed and selfishness, and it is, I think, very difficult to achieve peace, even within oneself, let alone to try to create peace in the world. We're fragmented, we human beings, by so many different philosophies and opinions. Those who are well off, regardless of their affiliation, politically or religiously, whatever, left or right. I think people who are well off care mainly about their own wealth, status, and power, and not only do they want to hold on to that, but they want ever more of those things. So many in this modern world have developed, I think, a kind of contempt for the poor and really for all ordinary people. Those who hold power have become very successful in creating a general climate of punitive judgment and try to teach all of us to blame our problems on those less fortunate than ourselves, or at least different than ourselves, and allowing us to absolve our own contributions to and our neglect to heal the sufferings that plague our society and the world. As a culture, we have come to worship celebrities and the successful, and have little concern or compassion for those who are stuck in hopelessness and despair. We try to delude ourselves that all the conflicts in the world really have nothing to do with us or our way of life. How many times have I heard people, even those who say they are Buddhists, just dismiss the plight of, for example, the homeless in our communities? Of course, in the most sympathetic tones, but they dismiss the homeless as really being mainly, as their situation really being mainly their own fault, or that they are a sanitary danger to a healthy community. These judgments are made by those who, I think, don't need to worry themselves where their next meal is coming from, and who have mostly never had to worry about having a roof over their heads. Yet we want to talk about peace and celebrate Peace Day. We are full of fear and have been taught to distrust anyone not like ourselves. But how can we create peace unless we put ourselves in the shoes of others and truly understand their suffering? Recently, as another example, I have heard many times the same type of thinking applied to the so-called unvaccinated, which is the newest group that we superior people can feel permitted to judge and condemn. In many news stories, I've actually heard or read opinions to the effect that anyone who refuses to be vaccinated deserves to die of COVID, or that they are to blame for all our problems regarding the pandemic or all the conditions around it, even though we vaccinated people actually can still become infected and spread the virus. The trend I've noticed is that anyone who questions or refuses to blindly accept mainstream attitudes, which change all the time, but whatever they are right now, are simply dismissed with no attempt to understand their thinking or their conditions. But can we privileged people who have health insurance and some degree of security and don't perceive the medical system as a yawning maw of financial ruin, as is the case for countless people who don't have insurance, can we understand the distrust and fear of those many people in our country who are living from hand to mouth and have no reason to trust the system that doesn't care about them? Yet we talk about peace and we celebrate Peace Day. And how many times, but no, stop a minute. I include myself too as one of those who are full of judgment, hindered by fear and selfishness. We should all know, I should know, that we always judge and condemn in others what we fear most in ourselves. Yet I, and I think most of us deep inside, do have an authentic yearning for peace. But we need to think about what that means. And we need to find the place to begin. Because if we're only going to have a Peace Day observance and ring the church bell and then go back to whatever we usually do, then I think it means very little. So we need to find the place to start. That's not too hard because Buddhism and every authentic religion, religious tradition, has a lot to say about peace and where it needs to come from. One thing they all agree upon is this: one must begin with oneself. One needs to become changed inwardly. My actions will never bring peace to the world while I am full of conflict, judgment, and hatred inside. Shinran Shonin pointed out in his notes on Essentials of Faith alone the goal of the meaning of the goal of Buddhist practice, which is called nirvana. Nirvana has the meaning of burning up or becoming completely empty of all ego and desire. So it seems like a very austere state of being, and that to reach nirvana means to have totally left behind one's self, maybe also one's personality, thoughts, emotions, and memories. But maybe that is simply the ignorance of we who are not enlightened. Anyway, Shinran wrote in this passage, Nirvana is called extinction of passions, the uncreated, peaceful happiness, eternal bliss, true reality, Dharma body, Dharma nature, suchness, oneness, and Buddha nature. Now, that's the end of the passage. Now, this is a lot to unpack right now, so not in enough time in this short message. But the expression that stands out here for me, the reason I'm quoting it, is peaceful happiness. To say that nirvana is both peaceful and happy, to me means that the goal of our Buddhist path is to attain both peace and happiness, and that peace and happiness are not separate but are one. Shinran always emphasized that we ordinary beings cannot force ourselves to become good. We always have our selfish motives that prevent us from achieving perfect kindness and and compassion for others. We continue to carry our fears, angers, and simply our needs, our everyday needs, with us, and these affect our thoughts and actions. That's a truth anyone who has struggled on the spiritual path knows. The harder you try to change yourself, the more you find out how persistent our human nature really is. Or worse, if we are honest, we find out how easy it is to delude ourselves into believing that we have succeeded and have already become what we set out to achieve. And that's almost always a big delusion. However, goodness in Buddhism is not an abstract standard or set of rules that we somehow must succeed in forcing ourselves to adhere to. If it were, we have to ask the question, where is this goodness? Where is this perfection that we need to achieve? Where does it reside if it's something that exists out there? It's not something that's just there. It is not something we can even define. For Shinran, goodness is reality itself, the totality of things, which he identifies as Amida Buddha. It is the boundless, infinitely compassionate life that is dynamic and ever-changing. We can never become good. Rather, good embraces us perfectly and completely with infinite compassion and fills us with that peaceful happiness, that which is Amida's mind and heart, the mind and heart of true reality. That's which Shinran identified with nirvana. In one stanza of his poem Shoshinge, Shinran wrote, "Though persons have committed evil all their lives, when they encounter the primal vow, they will reach the world of peace and realize the perfect fruit of enlightenment." Now, the primal vow is a way of talking about this infinite wish, infinite desire or aspiration of the Buddha's mind for the happiness of all beings. So though persons may have, you and I, we may have done selfish, cruel, terrible things our whole life, but when we encounter this aspiration of great compassion, to realize we're all embraced by great compassion, then we reach the world of peace. Then we reach the world of peace and realize the fruit of enlightenment, the perfection of enlightenment. The mind, that mind of peace and happiness is the perfect fruit of enlightenment that we realize. Or to put it just in really simple terms, what we achieve, what we are not really achieve, but what we awaken to naturally through this great compassion is what people often refer to simply as peace of mind. We hear that expression all the time. I can't get any peace of mind. It's so noisy here, you know. I'm looking for peace of mind. I'll have some peace of mind when I have a vacation or when I retire. But we're looking for, in Buddhism, we're actually looking for peace of mind, but a lasting peace of mind. It's hard. Have you ever achieved it? So in Buddhist thought, most people have always insisted that one must work through the Dharma teachings, the sutras, especially the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. And the idea is that by cultivating all the right ideals, behaviors, and so on, practices, we can eventually reach this nirvana, this peace. So you transform your imperfect intentions. So if you tried to do this, you need to transform all your imperfections into right thinking, into perfect thinking. So you have your intentions. You have to transform your imperfect, not right intentions to become right intentions, and your speech into right speech. And you have to make your conduct and your livelihood and your effort and your everything else, your thought, everything else, meditation, right according to that. And all of your values, thoughts, and actions will then also become right, and you will be enlightened. So it's very easy. It's just the Eightfold Path, the 8-step program. You just go right through it, and you become enlightened. But the trouble is, in a world filled with conflict, selfishness, hatred, and delusion, you can never know to what extent you have changed, or whether you're just flattering yourself that you are now a better person than you were before. And that is easy to do, and has long, in modern times, I think it's long been a popular idea in a million self-help books and TV shows. But it's really always been the case. It's very difficult to perfect ourselves, to perfect oneself, and to even have the perspective to see oneself honestly. And if you've ever tried, you know that so-called self-improvements tend to fade away very quickly. Yet, when we encounter that reality of boundless compassion, or Amida Buddha, great compassion, that embraces us as we are, we discover a peace of mind that is deep and indestructible, even when we are deluged by the fears and anxieties of life. This peace of mind rests like a radiant jewel at the center of our imperfect, suffering existence. With this peace of mind, the ideals that Buddhism aims for, such as those in the Eightfold Path and so on, naturally unfold in our living. In the really important book published many years ago, back in the 1970s, called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. It's an interesting title. I'm sure you've heard of it, but it's worth reading. But anyway, the author, Robert Pirsig, wrote, peace of mind produces right values. Right values produce right thoughts. Right thoughts produce right actions, and right actions produce work, which will be a material reflection for others to see of the serenity at the center of it all. So, what he's saying is that rather than we have to adjust all of our values according to some scale or to some set standard, and then we will have peace of mind, it's the other way around. We have to develop that peace of mind, that we have to acquire somehow that peace of mind, and that will produce the right values. That will change the way we look at the world. It will change the way we think, and will change the way we act, and those actions will change, will reflect, our work in the world will reflect the serenity, the peace that is at the center of our mind, of our heart, and also not just ourself, but that peace that is there, that peace of mind that we have is the Buddha's peace of mind. It is the Buddha's mind itself. So it seems that the most important thing for us to do to really bring peace to the world is to aspire to this kind of inner change. The first thing, not that we shouldn't also continue to try to do other things as well, many things, but that's not the topic today. Shinran called this change, he called it birth, or being born in the Pure Land. Though on one level, technically, this idea of birth, or birth in the Pure Land, refers to the next life or the next world, Shinran was really concerned about this life, that the person of Nembutsu should awaken to realization of the infinite embrace of great compassion and be illumined by the light of perfect wisdom, even while remaining a person filled with blind passions. So long as we remain rooted in our own cleverness, our own ego-driven wisdom, we won't make much of a dent in bringing peace to the world. We may simply fall into our natural self-centered laziness and not make any effort at all to help. Or, and this is maybe even worse, we may become deeply committed to a cause and try to force our ways, our vision of reality onto others. Without being rooted in Amida's great compassion, we will just continue to expand the fragmenting of human fellowship throughout the world. We will only see our own rightness and the wrongness of others, of everybody else. We will see others as either allies or enemies. But to create true peace, we must transcend the dualistic separation that human beings have maintained for so long. We must become one with each other to achieve true peace, one in harmony, in fellowship, in kindness, in support and nurturing. That means, among other things, that we really have to listen to opinions from others we don't want to hear, to stop believing in our own rightness, wisdom, and superiority over others, to accord human dignity and respect to everyone, especially those who we fear or have been taught to fear, or even just simply those we don't like. So in today's world, we are incessantly being taught to believe that we are surrounded by enemies. This is a really hard condition to create peace out of. A few years ago, we were taught that those enemies, we were constantly told that those enemies were Islamic terrorists. Now we are being taught to fear what are being called domestic terrorists. It's convenient and profitable for our leadership to keep us in fear and to keep us at war in one way or another. But if you are a Buddhist or any person who is sincerely seeking to awaken to what is good and true, then we all need to recognize the hatred and greed at the heart of our fears. We have created so much disharmony, so many chasms of distrust between us, so much resentment and anger. It will be a long road to rebuild a world of truly humane values. But we can do it if we start now. We need to open ourselves to discover that peace of mind deep inside of us, and which surrounds us, and really is the root of our existence, you might say. And the place to begin is with ourselves. So thank you very much for listening, and now please join me with hands together as we hear the calling voice of great compassion. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May I be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to me. May I live in peace and harmony. May my family be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my teachers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my friends be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May strangers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my enemies be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today for our YouTube Sunday service for Kahului Hongwanji. I do hope that you enjoyed this video and that there's something meaningful that you can take away from it for you to help you with your life. I just have a few announcements. For next week, September 26th, we will be having our Ohigan major service, and only on YouTube, only on video, and also our family gratitude remembrance. So I do hope you'll join us for that. And I'll be announcing the services for next month at next week's on next week's video. We will be having our fundraiser, which is a food item fundraiser, marinated chicken and the teriyaki beef, and that will be September. The pickup will be September 29th through October 2nd. So for more information, please call the office, or if you'd like to purchase tickets. I think they're just about out of them, but if you're interested, please call the office for information. We will, again, for your benefit, please put on the calendar of the Maui District Nembutsu seminar will be held at Wailuku Hongwanji Mission on November 13th and 14th. If the speaker is able to come with the COVID situation, we never know for sure, so we just have to take it as it comes. So if it's not going to be in person, then it will be, I believe, presented on Zoom. Okay, so you can also call Wailuku Hongwanji for information about that. So that's about all of our announcements. We are observing Peace Day on September 21st, next Tuesday. This coming Tuesday, there will be a tiny little bell ringing service here at the church, outside the church, at 9 a.m. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us, and let's conclude our service by putting our hands together and reciting the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.